ॐ सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति। Gita class. Question from Aparna. Non-apprehension of Brahman asana can lead to misapprehension of Brahman depending on the conducive environment. Guna. Is this to be understood at individual level or at macro level? Correct? The non-apprehension can lead to misapprehension depending on the conducive environment. Correct. Is this to be understood at the individual level or at macro level? All level. Both the levels, it is the same thing. The rules don't change. The law doesn't change. Principle remains the same. In fact, the distinction that we create here, the conduciveness comes into picture only for one reason. That is, non-apprehension being the same. How do you account for the variety of misapprehensions? Misapprehensions are many, but the non-apprehension is the same. You see, that is only one. The non-apprehension of the rope has to come only from the rope. Non-apprehension of the boulder cannot come from rope, isn't it? So the non-apprehension being same for all of us, how do you account this variety? Why this is different, why that is different? The differences comes into picture because in between there is one thing. Conducive. Some other factor. For that we are using the word conducive. Some factor. Something is there. For that we need to use one word. Now we can't write one, series of words. Right? All put together we give one term. Isn't it? It's a collective one. So many things are there. What all there we don't know. Exactly. Like the maths teacher is same in the class. His teaching style is same. His teaching remains the same. But the marks vary, no? So that means what? Something other than the teacher and his teaching style has a say in the matter of result. What is that we don't have to worry about? There is something, no? What all factors? Sir, on the day of examination, there was a protest. Therefore, can be a possibility. On the day of examination, this has happened. On the day of this, that has happened. Each one can give one reason. But then one thing we need to be sure about is what? Teacher being same, teaching style remains the same, syllabus is same, marks vary. That means there is something other than that exist. I'm like a ghost now. எனக்கே பயமா இருக்கு. Fan is working. Only lights are off. Oh, the backup is there only for audio. Your fans are not working. My fan is working. I don't know what's going to be the scenario of the YouTube. I at least can open the screen. Some light will come. At least I will not appear like a ghost. Something is there. Not the window, just the sound will come if you open. Since we see the variety in creation, we also understand there is something other than that single factor, which is non-apprehension. So the non-apprehension of Brahman is common for all of us. But the world that is experienced is not common for all of us. Even to the same individual, it is not consistently the same, right through. Isn't it? How you see that same husband at one point of time is not the same way you see him at another point of time. He's such an idiot, sir. He doesn't have brains, but he's a good fellow. How can an idiot be good? That's what every wife believes, no? I don't know about my wife. She also may say the same thing. Now, one day you look at him, he looks this way. One day you look at him, he looks another way. Is it dependent on him or is it dependent on you? He remains the same. He is constant. Because an idiot is an idiot right through. A genuine person is a genuine person right through. If a person were to be genuine in one place, not genuine in another place, the genuinity that he is showing in this place is fake, which means he is not genuine. Remember, quality of the person will not change. You remain the same. If you are an outspoken person, you are an outspoken person everywhere. I am a straightforward person, sir. Means you want everyone to be straightforward with you. But then I will be straightforward, but you should not be straightforward to me. What does it mean? I can say things to you independent of whether it is appropriate, whether it hurts you, whether it is the right way of saying. I don't care about all these things. That is your problem. I'm just stating the facts, plain, blunt. Bluntly, I'll put it across. No diplomacy, no nothing. I will put it across. But you should not do like that to me. When you talk to me, you should speak to me depending upon my mood. What do you call that person? See, that person is going to be, whether he is straightforward or whether he is, wherever he is very diplomatic, wherever he is straight, doesn't make any difference. He remains the same. He will not change. A change not there. A change has to happen here. Most of the time when we say, I'm going to transform myself, we think of what? Shifting areas. Wherever you can afford to be blunt, straight, you are straight. Where your stake is involved, what do you do? When there is no stake involved, your behavior is one. When there is a stake involved, your behavior is totally, different. Why should we do the ritual facing south? If I do the same thing facing north, what will happen? You will ask a priest. Ask the same question in the board of directors in your company. Huh? The income tax department comes for inquiry. Ask no. You dare. What clerk from income tax department will be scared. Why? In the court, when you are not having any case, you can be so straightforward. When you are going for your case and the clerk is carrying the case documents, how you speak to him? You claim yourself to be straightforward, right? Where? Is your straightforwardness constant or everywhere? Then what are you? That's how we think. We see fluctuations. But one thing is common. So we do have both in us. There is something which is constant in us, and there is something which is variable in us. So there is variable and there is constant. Now we need to account for both. Correct? The constant factor is accounted with non-apprehension. The variable factor is accounted with conducive environment. Maya, Mithya, Gunas, all these things. Without bringing in this factor, your understanding about life can never be complete. Either you will hold on to only one aspect, you miss the other. Either you will hold on to guna and lose ignorance, avidya, you will ignorance, vasana, you will ignorance. Or you will hold on to vasana and ignore this. So there are two factors in us. So that remains the same everywhere. So Krishna is only explaining that theorem here, the principle of accounting for life. How do you account it? And then he is moving on to explanation of the variables. See, what is a variable factor here? Guna is a variable. Guna accounts for variable factor, which is what we have seen as conducive environment. And the conducive environment is what is figuratively presented to most of us as Brahma. Brahmaji, or Hiranyagarbha. Technically, they use these words. Hiranyagarbha. What is that Hiranyagarbha, sir? Hiranyagarbha is this. Is where the whole thing is coming out. When you talk about the macrocosm, we'll say Hiranyagarbha. That's the womb he is referring to. What is the womb here? The conducive environment. I place my seed. The seed is non-apprehension. The non-apprehension seed, when it is placed in the conducive environment, when this seed plus the womb accounts for the birth. All that you have to understand is these three. Is a man, is a seed, womb, birth. The man is Brahman. The seed is non-apprehension, ignorance. Ignorance, at the stage of ignorance, there is no creation. When that ignorance plus seed plus womb, right? Only then creation is. Similarly, here he says non-apprehension plus the conducive environment creates misapprehension, which is the world, which is what you believe yourself to be, your personality. What are you? So you can take it as you, the individual, and the world put together. So the whole concept is this. It's not a very complicated idea. It's a simple idea if you understand it in the sequence. And always remember, it's a theory, right? It is an explanation for a phenomenon. It's called a theory. Theory explains a phenomenon. Theory doesn't create anything. It only explains what's happening, right? It doesn't create. You go to a house, there is a dead body, and you see certain things there. Based on whatever you see there, we understand what. Then the investigating officer starts creating a theory. This is what must have happened. A person who has come into the house to kill, or is it a suicide? It's locked from inside. A person is holding a gun in his hand. The dead body is holding a gun in his hand. It's locked from inside. Everything is shut. All the windows and everything is closed. Is it a murder or is it a suicide? And then you will add one more factor. So it will appear as suicide. So he's having a gun. Nobody has entered inside. Doesn't seem to be any struggle there. There's no fight. Nothing has happened. So you don't see any sign of any one of those things. Then suddenly you see what? There are 2 teacups. A fellow who is going to commit suicide, okay, even if he prepares tea, he will prepare tea for himself, no? So the fact that he has prepared tea for 2 people, someone has come. Some visitor has come. We are not saying he is the killer, but somebody has come. So someone has seen this man before this. So the first investigation will be done with whom? Him. Then they will go on building. As the new data arrives, the theory will go on changing. Remember, theory doesn't create. Theory only explains a phenomenon. We are experiencing the world. After experiencing the world, we are asking from where it came, how it came. Right? The event has already occurred. Now we have to give an explanation for that event. So they say exactly like how you are born. Biological birth happens the same way the spiritual birth also has happened. How the body is born, the same way the jiva is also born. It becomes acceptable, agreeable for us, because we cannot understand creation in any other way. There's another way of explaining that creation, that is a pot maker making a pot. You need a material cause, you need an intelligent cause, right? Now here, who is the intelligent cause here? If you go through that angle, there the material cause will be the gunas. Using the guna, he created the world. So nimitta karana is who? Intelligent causes, the pot maker, Brahman. The world is the pot. Which is the mud now? The clay. The clay is the gunas. Another theory. So gunas becomes the clay. Using the three gunas, he has created this various pots. Correct. But if you ask, how do you know this is how he created? I will turn around and ask you, how do you know it is not created like this? How do you know there is God? I will ask you, how do you know there is no God? I went into space. I didn't see God there. Just because you go to space, he should be there, is it? Waiting for you. We landed in moon, no? Which part of the moon we landed? Chandrayaan 2, right? 2 landed in moon. Where? South. Imagine he is sitting there at north. Imagine someone goes to my house now and searches for Ishwaran all over the house and comes to conclusion, Ishwaran is dead. Why? I searched him all over the house. I say, hey, Buddhu, he's not there, man. He's sitting here. But you only say God is all pervading. No? He is all pervading. But do you have the instrument to see something which is all pervading? Because you are using an instrument of what? Eyes. Can I see something which is all pervading? Either you say God is all pervading, or you say God is not all pervading, he has a particular form. Either you agree to he has a form, or you say he has a form, but that form is all pervading. Vishwarupa, he said. All pervading form. All pervading form, can you see? It's exactly like you trying to search for the microbes with the lens. Reading lens we use sometimes. Magnifying glass. Right? Microscope is what? Magnifier only. I am also having a magnifier in me. I am searching for that. And I have come to conclusion that there is no microbes at all. What is the answer you will give to that fellow? Remember, a theory is valuable to whom? Theory is applicable to whom? The one who has a doubt. None of you have the doubt. You see, you don't have that wonderment. How the world is created, I am so. Your problem is what? Sir, what to do for evening? I have a wedding. Also, I want to go for the music concert. What to do is your problem. And suddenly you come to Vedanta class in the morning and sit here and say what? Is Brahma or Brahman? That's what Arjuna asks. The second chapter. How does Sthita Prajnasya ka bhasha? Samadhistasya kesha. How does Sthita Prajna sit? How was the Prajna speaks? How was the Prajna walks? Will he walk fast or slow? Standing in the battlefield, huh? The fellow is asking, Sthita Prajnasya ka bhasha. How does Sthita Prajna speak? That's why Bhagavad Gita has been accepted as, you know that, no? It has gone into the world record. Who is maintaining the record? All cracks. They will take Bhagavad Gita. Why? Upanishad should be taken. The problem is what? You can't connect to Upanishad. You see, you cannot. It's impossible to relate to Upanishads. Bhagavad Gita we can relate to. Therefore, we have taken Bhagavad Gita as a world record. At least that much you have. Okay, we'll say. We pardon you for that. But then really speaking, if you see Bhagavad Gita, it's just, very ordinary. I'm saying from the point of view of the Upanishads, okay? Not for you. For you, Bhagavad Gita is it's like I remember the 6th standard, I had one of my friend. The teacher asked, in the mountains, peak, which is the peak one. And that fellow stood up and said, Dr. Betta. The whole name has become that. So even now I'm struggling to remember his name. Only that comes to my mind. Dr. Betta. I'm getting the other fellow's name. His name I'm not getting. Dr. Betta. Now, for him, that's the peak. That's what Vivekananda says. That the frog has a conversation with the frog which has come from the ocean. The frog in the well. There was a tsunami. The tsunami, that water has entered into ocean, water has entered into the well. Along with that, a frog had come from the ocean. Right. So the old frog is having a conversation with the new frog. Well, has a conversation with the ocean frog. Where are you from? I am from ocean. Ocean? How big is that? Says it's big. How big? And the frog takes a leap. Takes a leap. Says, this big? No, it's bigger than that. Very politely he says, no, it's bigger. And then it takes a full breath, leap. Takes. No. Will it be as big as the well? He says, no. The well is, there's no comparison. You can't compare. It's too big. You can fit like this. About 1 billion wells can be fitted. Still, it will be not be enough. And the frog in the well goes back saying, "You're lying. There cannot be anything bigger than this well in the world." That's what we are. We think this is a bigger. What is your problem? Remember, a theory will be appealing to you only when it is your question. When it is not your question, you will never get that completion. That's why every time explanation is given, you will go back thinking what? Bahuvihi shrotavyam, bahuvida shrotavyam. How to listen. Beautifully they say. the Shastras say, Bahuvihi Shrotavyam, Bahuvida Shrotavyam. Listen many times. Listen many times the same thing. Listen many times the same thing from different angles. Same thing you have to listen again and again. Also, you have to listen the same thing from different angles of Bahuvida Shrotam. Again and again you got to listen. Only then there is a chance of these things getting in. If it is your question, one listening is enough. You will get it. Since it is not your question, that's not what is actually bothering you. What is disturbing you is to do with what? Wedding invitation, reception or this. That is your dilemma in life. Whether it is non-apprehension or misapprehension is not your quest at all. So that's why many times it will not be appealing to us. Many times these things will not strike. Why it is not striking is only because of this reason. See. So understand this. There's a man, seed, womb, birth. All these three has to be there for birth. Similarly, we are experiencing this world. It is born. This birth would have happened how? So there has to be a universal man. That universal man will be discussed in the next chapter. Purushottama Yoga. Okay. He's not leaving ideas, remember. He's not going to leave anything. In this chapter, he is going to discuss this angle of the conducive womb. Womb is discussed here. Next chapter, he is going to discuss about that Purusha, the man. What about women? The womb. The man, the seed, and the womb. When the seed comes in contact with the womb alone, there is birth. You see, there is no birth without only the womb. There is no birth possibility of only seed. The seed plus womb alone can. Which is the thing which is visible to us. From here we take the position of what? What is the seed? What is the womb? What is that man? What is the birth? The birth is the creation, the world, the experiences that we go through, the personality that we have, all put together. When we say world, macrocosm, microcosm put together is called world. For the analysis purpose, further we divide the world into two parts, macrocosm, microcosm. But whenever we say world, that means what? The Jiva and Jagat put together. This has come into being. You as a person has come into being. How? And from there we take a lead of what? The whole thing is just an imagination. A fantastic imagination. Exactly like how this boy imagines a snake where there is a rope. You get it? Now from verse 5 onwards, in this chapter, rest of the analysis is going to be only with reference to what is the womb. The womb is the gunas. Okay. So he is going to discuss with reference to what is this sattva, rajas, tamas. We will study about the sattva, rajas, tamas now. Again, we will study about sattva, rajas, tamas 17. Again, we will study about sattva, rajas, tamas in 18. Right? 3 chapters. We will be stuck with these 3 words. Sattva, rajas, tamas. Sattva, rajas, tamas. It will come back again and again and again. But what is he discussing here is nature of sattva, rajas, and tamas. The chapter here he is going to explain in verse 5 to 13. Okay, entire chapter I'll explain and then we will come here. There are 6 aspects with reference to sattva, rajas, tamas he is going to explain here. There are 6 pointers. The first aspect is what is sattva, rajas, tamas? What is guna? The lakshana. What is the meaning? What is the definition of guna? How do you define it? What is it? Nature of sattva, rajas, tamas. And then he is going also explain how they binds. That bandha, lakshana and bandha. And then how these gunas manifest. This is the guna, but how it will manifest in you. The manner of manifestation. Guna adikya is it. The manifestation of the guna. Then he gives certain indicators to understand which guna is influencing you right now. Right. At any given point of time, there has to be some indications you are subjected to which guna now, which is dominating you right now. The traditional Panjangas, if you see, in that Panjanga, they would have given every day how these gunas are manifesting. One is universal one, that is Brahma Muhurta time, Sattva. During day, Rajas. And then there is night, Tamas. This is general factor. And then in that Panchanga, they will be saying Sattva is 11:30 to 1 o'clock. How many of you have seen Panchanga? Seen? You have not read, no? So people ask me, do you speak Kannada? I ask them, do you speak Kannada? Yes, then I don't. If you know Kannada, I don't know Kannada. If you don't know Kannada, I am an expert. Nanu Kuvampula are very close friends. They are very good buddies. If you don't know Kannada. Panchanga, they give that actually. That's what you are supposed to do. Every year, New Year, first thing you do is what? You read that Panchanga. What is the year? You should read it. Most of us don't know. So what we do is we call the priest. He'll come home and read the Panchanga and tell you, these are the things happening this year, this is happening, this Grahana is there, this is the one, this is the one, this is the one, this is the one. If you see there, later portions of the divisions and all that, you will find that In this date, this is the time of Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. It manifests. It's not necessarily it has to be always like that. But as a rule, if you take, whatever Sattva you have manifests in the morning. That doesn't mean during the daytime Sattva will never manifest. See, if that is the case, then Sattva will manifest in the morning. Huh? During daytime only Rajas. Nowhere you will have a chance of such Sattva manifesting. So you mean to say Tamas will never come during daytime? They say no. One is universal. I told you this. Constant. Also there is variables. These two together is called life. The wheel of life can move only with the variables and fixed. The train is moving. There is variable and fixed. The rails are fixed. You see, the locomotive moves. So that for the movement to happen, you need these two. So wherever you go, you will have these two. Remember, there is fixed and there is variable. So how you can identify the indications? The indications of Sattva is dominating you now. Rajas is dominating you now. Tamas is dominating you. You are under that influence. You are under the influence of Sattva now. You are under the influence of Rajas now. You are under the influence of Tamas now. It can be even for a few minutes, few seconds. It could be anything. At any given point of time, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas will be influencing you. What is the indication? And then goes to a different idea. Finally, last portion of the chapter, he goes to the discussion of what happens to a person who dies with Sattva dominating, Rajas dominating, Tamas dominating. Just now we said at any given point of time, you can have Sattva dominating, Rajas dominating, Tamas dominating. Right? At the time of death, if Sattva dominates, at that time a person dies. Rajas dominates, at that time a person dies. Tamas dominates, at that time a person dies. What will happen? You can't say it will be the same for everyone, sir. No, it's not same. He says that is variable. It varies. What happens to all those people? He says. And during lifetime, if your life were to be dominated by Sattva, how will it be? If your life were to be dominated by Rajas, how will it be? Tamas, how will it be? Now 6 points. The entire chapter is only the 6 points. So first 4 verses, intro. Right, building. First 2 verses, he says the greatness of the knowledge and the promise. And then he gives the theory. In the theory, he picks up one dimension and starts exploring. Right. Keep that in mind and then read. Okay. Then it will be easier. Otherwise, you will be lost in this. You can't see the connection and then you'll be lost. Verse number 5.
Sattvam rajastama iti guna prakriti sambhavaha nivatnanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam sattvam rajastama iti guna prakriti sambhavaha nivatnanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam.
Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. These gunas, qualities, born of Prakriti, matter, bind the indestructible embodied to the body, Om Habaho. Right. Now here, he gives 2 points here. Remember. Then elaboration will go. Essentially, he is giving 2 points. What is that? He says a general intro with reference to the guna, general background of the guna, and what is common denominator for all the three gunas. Three gunas are all different. Sattva is different, Rajas is different, Tamas is different. But then, even the different gunas has something in common. Just now we saw. Wherever you go, there will be constant variable. Before going into the variable, first he touches upon the constant factor. What is a common denominator? What is a common denominator? 2 points are common. Right. What are the 2 points? The source for the three gunas is the same source, Prakriti. Born of Prakriti. So Sattva is also born of Prakriti, Rajas born of Prakriti, Tamas born of Prakriti. Once we start all these things, forget the theory. Right? Don't come back and ask me, sir, how can seed be the cause for the wound? You follow? No problem. The very next verse, if you're following the sequence, you should get that doubt. I know you're not following. Right? You're not following. You follow that, sir. Logic law first, fantastic. Man, seed, womb, birth. Correct. Now we are going to discuss about the womb. Okay. Now the first statement he makes is what? Born of Prakriti. What is Prakriti? Non-apprehension, no. That's what we saw in the 13th chapter. 13th chapter we studied Purusha Prakriti. Purusha is Brahman. Prakriti is avidya, ignorance. Right. What is ignorance we saw in this chapter? Last verse is the seed. Non-apprehension is the seed. Now suddenly he says Prakriti is the cause for this. Now, fortunately, those people who gave that world record didn't study it like this. If they would have studied like this, now finished. Say what? Record. Amazing there, these people tell you. And it's very difficult to believe someone can speak. It's just, he's just making statements. Remember, Krishna is not, he's just talking. When he is just having that talk, in the talk that man has such precision. There are a lot of people speak, very eloquently they speak. But the content is what? Some of the speakers I know who have been rated as, A plus. He's superb, sir. Yeah, he talks a lot of things, but finally he comes to what point? The simple idea. The idea is not a complicated idea. Idea is very simple, but the way he puts it across is what? That's what he criticizes in the second chapter earlier. Pushpitam Vacham. Flowery. You get carried away by words. Now, he's not a man like that. Krishna. That way I say those who gave that, brilliant. Conversation, it's just a conversation, remember. Across a conversation, they are able to present. Like last week I was explaining, I don't know how many of you followed that. How many of you were there also? I said, how do you read Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavatam, all that? How are you supposed to read? Bhakti, you will not get it. Don't try bhakti. You are not fit for bhakti. You are unfit for bhakti. Because bhakti essentially requires innocence. You see, bhakti is possible when you are innocent. Only then emotion is possible. Right? You have lost that innocence way back. You won't even remember when you are innocent. Hmm? Nowadays, even kids are not innocent. And we don't want our kid to be innocent. We want our kid to be what? Intelligent. Oh, he's very smart. They're brilliant. In what? Changing the mobile setting. Ah. Mobile setting I change, brilliant. If he writes a coding, I will say brilliant. He's only 4 year old, sir. He has, developed an app. I say brilliant fellow he is. He just makes a change in the, home screen. That fellow changed. I say brilliant fellow he is. I don't know what brilliance you people talk about. Apamalna, I don't know what to call those guys. We don't want innocence. Not possible. Don't try. It doesn't work. If you are innocent, bhakti is possible. If you are intelligent, bhakti will not work for you. Now you decide for yourself. You have a choice. Only two choices are there. Innocence is one method. Intelligence is another method. Don't try to fuse it. Sir, is there a possibility for me to fuse these two things together and do it? Try. Try to fit in BMW engine into Maruti 800. Fit in. There will not be place for the driver. How can you fit in BMW engine in Maruti 800? That is different. This is different. Cheap and best. How can the best be cheap? Mind is so, I don't know what condition there actually. Peculiar category we are. How do you read it? Intelligence is to read the conversations first. Remember, it's a conversation and then read it. Lakshmana was furious knowing, he got to know that Kaikeyi has taken such a boon and Rama has agreed and he is packing his bags. Right? Fellow furious. And what Rama tells him, how he maintains. What do you talk to that fellow? Imagine there is someone like that, furious, angry that some injustice has been done to you. He believes that. Lakshmana believes there has been an injustice done to Rama. That's not correct. It is adharmic. It is what the belief of Lakshmana is. And he's angry. And he's capable. Remember, all that astras and sastras and everything that is taught by Vishwamitra to Rama is known to Lakshmana as well. Remember that. I have learned all that from Vishwamitra. Is given. He is as powerful as Rama. Capable, powerful, in support of you, he is getting angry. What you will talk to him to pacify him? Don't get angry. We'll give one to you fatal. Beautiful way how see, that's how you should read. After reading like that, there is a possibility for you to appreciate certain things there. This is intelligence. Innocent person will not read it like that. Innocent person will cherish the anger of Lakshmana. You see, that's why the man who gave this Puranas, no, the one who was teaching the Puranas, is known as Romaharsha, the Rishi's name, who gave that Puranas, the stories and all that, his student, Romaharsha. Vaishambhayana's student is Romaharsha and his student is Suta. When Romaharsha was giving a lecture, the Suta is the one who was listening to it. That he goes and teaches to people who are doing that yajna, Naimisharanya. The rishis are doing that yajna. In that Naimisharanya yajna, this man comes. Suta comes. When the Suta has come, these people ask that man. You are heard there, no? He says, Romaharsha used to teach. What is that Romaharsha? Romaharsha means goosebumps. Romaharsha is that, goosebumps. If he starts speaking, you will get goosebumps. See? And there are people, when they describe the anger of Lakshmana, the entire audience would feel like Lakshmana. They explain the calm and composed way of taking of Sita. Overnight, all these things have happened. Ayodhya Kanda is completely only that overnight, one night instant. See, Rama taking it is not a big deal. Sita to take it. Huh? You want to go, you go. I'll stay here. Only you are asked to go, no? And in fact, Rama positively dissuades her from coming to this and says very clearly to her, see, if you come, you are not going to be a comfort to me. You are going to be a problem to me. 14 years, I will not be able to do my tapas. I have to be sitting all the time protecting you. Sita Parana has happened 2-3 times even before Ravana. You know that in Ramayana. Most people think, only Ravana came to abduct Sita. No, she was abducted earlier also. Don't read, no. So they fight and, they bring her back. The fellow tries to abduct Sita. They fight and kill that fellow. Bring her back. And that time also he doesn't say, I told you, idiot, you are a nuisance to me. He says, no, I will not be. I will not be. I will come with you. And imagine, no, he's losing the whole thing. And there's no guarantee when they come back. What will be the scenario? First 2.5 years, I will be the chief minister. Next 2.5 years, you will be the chief minister. After 2.5 years, what happens? Finish? No. What is the guarantee? That's why always they say what? I will be first. Well, 2.5 years, finished. We have seen that. See, in the political dimensions, all this is normal. Now, to you and me, it may look abnormal. At that stage, it is normal. That's how it will operate. That's how it will function. Amazing. What guarantee? When they come back, they say, you are banished. What? How she convinces Rama to agree? See, Lakshmana could not convince Rama, but Sita could convince Rama. You're all with me? How? How is it? Don't say Sita is avatar Purusha, Rama is avatar, purpose and all that. All those things they don't know. That is innocence direction. Innocence direction will go there. Here it is not like that. We don't know what is going to be the case later. As you are reading the text, you should read the text. Don't try to read the problem after the answer. Now, when you read Ramayana, you are reading Ramayana how? Knowing that Rama killed Ravana, then they came back, all this that you are reading it reverse. That events did not develop like that. Events happened this fashion. So, on that day, Rama has no clue what is going to be the response and reaction of people if he comes back. First of all, will he be able to come back itself is a big question mark. We don't know. Remember, when you read it, you got to read in this direction or in this direction. Innocence ruled out. Intelligence you don't have. I don't know what to do now. See, you have rejected intelligence, in a sense, and you have rejected intellect also. You should have intellect, you see. Either you go the direction of intellect or you go in the direction of innocence. Intellect is not developed, innocence is dropped. Old house I have vacated, new house I have not found. Where will you be? In Mylapore, we have one street name called Nadutteru. Nadutteru means middle of the road. Where are you? Nadutteru. It's still there. No? Where are you? Nadutteru. As once there was a dream to get a house there. So where are you? Nadutteru. You are nowhere. You see, that's our condition here. So when you read it carefully, you got to read. It says, once this is done, drop it, move into this idea now. That's why you should understand that's a theory. Theory is valid up to that point. After that, don't keep on extending it to other aspects also. Now we have come to the aspect of what is this conduciveness. Conducive factor is the gunas. From what is the source of the guna? It says all the three gunas has the same source. One. Second point he explains in this verse is that all the three gunas bind. That is also common. So there are 2 points which are common to the three gunas. The source and what they do. All three binds, all three has the same source, which is the Prakriti, matter. Prakriti means whatever you have studied in the previous chapter, 13th chapter, we have seen that. Go back and read that. What is Purusha, Prakriti and all that. It says, now what it binds, how it binds is very interesting. It's binding who? It says there are 2 angles in which we see the binding aspect. One is absolute, another one is relative. Absolute bondage and the relative bondage. Absolute bondage means the indestructible embodied to the body. The indestructible embodied could be referring to the jiva in this deha. Because when you die, right, jiva continues. Only the deha perishes. Body only perishes. You see, this this personality called Ishwaran will perish. Right? This will disappear. But the Jiva who is housed inside, he will continue his journey. You see, or he or she, or I don't know what is it, whatever it is. The Jiva will continue. See, the Jiva doesn't have any gender. There's no gender for Jiva. For conversation purpose, I keep saying he. Right? There's no gender for it. Because gender is only to the body. What body you have defines your gender. That's it. So gender is not defined by the thoughts. Where thoughts keep changing, no. This means gender will change every day. Suddenly I feel today I am a donkey. Suddenly I'll feel myself to be cat. See, one day I'll feel like that, one day I'll feel like this, no. Many times you felt you are like a monkey, no. Common. How many times, men keep saying that. It's dog's life, sir. What are you living? Dog's life, sir. So you are feeling yourself like what? So one day, are you a cat, or you a donkey, or a monkey, or a dog? What are you now? One thing for sure, you're not a human. See, all this is to the body, remember. That you are a dog, or a cat, or a monkey, or a human, or deva. All this is with reference to the body. The one who is housed in the body is Jiva. So he says, what makes that Jiva to be housed in this body is the guna. You are with me? So first level of understanding. So my understanding about myself is only two aspects I can relate to. One is Deha or Jiva. What the technically they call as Dehatma Bhava or Jivatma Bhava. So I can take myself to be the body, or I can understand myself to be something other than the body who is housed in the body, which is this Jiva. So either I can take myself as body, or I can take myself as Jiva. Taking yourself as body is complete ignorance. You don't understand anything. Right? With little knowledge, with little penetration, you can come to this understanding. What is it? I am not the body. I am the Jiva who is housed in the body. That is possible. You can use Anubhava Pramana, you can use Anumana Pramana. Anubhava Pramana is what? You still existed when you went to sleep, no? When you went to sleep, there is no body. Correct? Or you go into coma, wake up, first question they ask is what? Where am I? Nobody asks, do I exist? Huh? Where am I? And then they ask, okay, you are in the hospital. This is 2025. You went into coma 2021 or 1999. The fellow will never know what is corona. Pandemic. He will not believe. Whole country was shut down for 3 weeks. Chumma, don't say. No man is really shut down. He will not believe all these things. he still carries the notion you didn't cease to exist, correct? If you are the body, you should not be existing without the body. Correct? In the dream, in the deep sleep, this body notion you have not had. So, which means there is a possibility of you existing without this body. Which means this body is not essential to establish your existence. You're all with me? Not required. You don't require Shruti. Shruti Pramana is not needed for this. This you can do with Anubhava Pramana and Anumana Pramana. Inference. Your own experience, and using logic and inferentially, you can arrive at this conclusion that you are different from the body. So, there is a possibility of your existence independent of this body. For that, we gave a name called Jiva. Right? You can understand anything with, connected to this body. Now he is saying, what is it that is linking? What is it that is binding this Jiva to this body? Yeah, that's what the guna does. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas bind the indestructible embodied to the body. The source is Prakriti. That is fixed. There's no choice. There is no deduction possibility, no thinking probability there. You just have to swallow it. Take it or leave it. Only two options. No possibility of any thinking there. With reference to the second factor, there is a possibility of thinking. Why? Because we have two different ways of understanding with reference to the indestructible embodied. Body, straight away we can understand this body. What is the indestructible embodied? Embodied, indestructible embodied. So, at the time of death, the body perishes, the Jiva continues. Where he goes, what happens and all is an independent question. But then, Jiva stands independent of the body. Then we ask the second question. Is that Jiva indestructible? Absolutely indestructible or relatively indestructible? Relatively indestructible, absolutely indestructible. Therefore, he says, bind the indestructible embodied to the body. He is referring not to the Jiva, he is referring to the Atma. You see that? So the first notion of you about yourself is, I am this body. Your idea about yourself is body. With more of thinking and experience, you arrive at a conclusion, you can understand that you are not the body, you are the Jiva. But then that Swarupa of the Jiva, you have no clue. What is the nature of the Jiva, you can't understand. You don't know that. You cannot rely on Anubhava Pramana or Anumana Pramana. Wherever Anubhava Pramana, Anumana Pramana, any one of these things, not possible. There is only one option we have, that is Shruti Pramana. After exhausting all other Pramanas, only you can come to Shruti Pramana. So Shruti Pramana comes, the scriptural authoritativeness comes into picture only after You have understood other pramanas don't work here. That's why we keep saying, people trying to explain consciousness through logic. Not possible. Because you have not understood what is the starting point. The starting point is what? That which cannot be explained through these pramanas only, Shruti comes into picture. Now we have heard about consciousness and all these things from the Shruti only. There, the Shruti comes and says, look here, this Jiva is also not absolute. That is also relative. So the absolute pramana is what? Shruti pramana. That Shruti is going to take position of what? Jiva is also destructible. Then what is indestructible embodied? Indestructible embodied is the Atma. So Deha, Jiva, Atma. You take yourself to be I am body, I am Jiva, I am Atma. This Atma also appears to have. This is where you have to add this one word to the sentence. These gunas bind the indestructible embodied to the body. You have to add. What is it? As it were. Not really. Whereas the Jiva binding to the body is real. Indestructible embodied, if you take as Atma, then that bondage is apparent. You see that? One is a real bonding, another one is appeared to have been bound. What is appeared to have been bound? We'll explain next class. We had too much. Right? But remember these three. Body, Jiva, Atma. Right? Indestructible embodied, first interpretation, Jiva. Second interpretation, Atma. We'll see next class.